The average human adult's attention span is 8 seconds. This means that by this moment, I may have lost the attention of 50% of the audience sitting here in front of me. However, I don't believe this is the case right now because there is something out of the ordinary, there is something out of the pattern happening around my face. And this is obviously this brain scan device that you often don't see people walking around town in this. And then obviously it is driving attention because I imagine the majority of you haven't seen a person wearing something like this. So what it is, it's a very intimate look on me. That is my brain visualized real time, and the colorful areas lighting up as I, in theory, move around. It stopped doing it right now for a certain reason. They are basically how the brain works. There they are. So as you can see, in theory, it is kind of following a pattern as I am moving around, as I am speaking, because the brain is processing the information of me moving around. It shouldn't be working like this. It should be continuously going on and on. And what I was trying to demonstrate is that in case I stop speaking and stop moving around, my brain would completely quiet down. Now, for some mystic reasons, it is not working because even though I am talking, it is quiet. This is not how it should have looked like. The plan was that I will stop moving around and stop speaking, and we would have seen exactly well, not exactly this. What we saw 5 seconds ago, that my brain completely quieted down. But the point I am trying to show you is that there are different brain waves originating from different parts of the brain, and we can analyze and measure them with a simple device like this when it is working. Now it is working. Let's see what happens if I stop talking for 5 seconds. In theory, it will quiet down. So, a moment of silence. Not really. I think it is. Okay, so that's actually leading into my presentation. When you are under intense emotional stress, such as I am right now, because obviously I'm freaking out giving a presentation to 200 people and my technology is not working, naturally, your brain reacts to that. This presentation is going to be around brain waves and viral videos' impact on the brain waves. So with this, I am turning off this device and I am switching to my presentation. All right, let's see if this technology works. Okay, it does. Whew, good. Let me see if the clicker works. Great. So as we could see before, that is a picture of my brain, various brain areas lighting up in different colors, and these different colors represent different brain waves. And with this information, we can kind of understand what are the emotional state of the person talking, such as some brain waves are associated with concentration, relaxation, visualization, deep sleep, etc., etc. And matching these brain waves to the different areas of the brain, we can understand a lot about what that person is going through. And that's exactly what my team did. I'm a Harvard University graduate student in data science, and with Harvard Innovation Labs, we basically analyzed the brainwaves of people watching viral and non-viral videos, and here is what we found. Not only did we analyze the brainwaves, but also we analyzed the facial expressions as well as the eye movements of people watching these viral and non-viral videos. And the type of output we generated is something like this. So here in the upper left corner, this is season 1, episode 1 of Stranger Things. You will see the first few seconds. The green dots are not part of the input video. That is where people are looking as they are watching this piece of content. On the top right corner, it is again my brain as I am watching Stranger Things. And below, it's kind of like the data science part of it, how we crunched the numbers of brainwaves, facial expressions, and eye movements as people were watching this piece of content. Translating all that information, we came up with metrics such as engagement, negative, positive emotions, confusion, surprise, anger, sadness, disgust, and many more. And as you can see, this red line will start moving as I will start playing the video, and we will hit a big emotional moment. Negative emotions, there is going to be confusion, anger, sadness, disgust. That's when, as you will see, a monster takes the scientist from the elevator. And as I am playing this, I will take this off and fix my hair. So please keep on looking on the presentation and not on me. Enjoy. We are not going to watch the entire thing together, but as you can see, at some point, it switches to more positive emotions. I think that was the intention of the creators of Stranger Things. That's when the kids start playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it's all very heartwarming and funny. And that is reflected on the brainwaves and facial expression of the people watching this piece of content. So before we dive in how actually viral videos impact the brain, I would like to make two disclaimers. Number one, to become an actual neuroscientist, one has to study for 12 years. So I am not going to go to intense details about the brain. I'm going to greatly simplify things. And then the second is that this is a session more for beginners who are starting out in creating viral content. So in case MrBeast is in the audience, I think he probably already knows all this, so it's okay if he leaves. All right, moving on. So let me introduce you to the brain. If I want to simplify it, there are two major areas of the brain. One is sitting more inside, and one is sitting more outside. And simplified, there is the automatic part of the brain, and there is the outer, more conscious part of the brain. And how do these two differ? Well, there are a couple of basic things. The automatic is often referred to as system 1, and this is what we do when we are thinking fast. This part of the brain is unconscious, emotional, it requires little effort, and this is what happens to us when we see something delicious and we immediately want to eat it even though we are not hungry. And then there is the conscious part of the brain that is often referred to as system 2, and this is what is thinking slow, this is more intentional, rational, effortful. For instance, if you are on a diet and you see a delicious pecan pie, you want to eat it, but then the conscious part of your brain kind of holds you back. So in a way, there are always, you can think of it as there are two humans living inside you that are in constant fight with each other. Typically, when you are more tired, it is more likely that the automatic part of the brain wins, and when you have more energy, the conscious part can kind of direct you to better decisions that are better in the long term. But it doesn't mean that the automatic part makes bad decisions. For instance, when you are attacked and you fight or flight, that is totally coming from this automatic part of the brain. So how did we end up with two brains? There are three key things that I want to tell you about, and then I swear we will start talking about viral videos. Number one, this automatic part of the brain, we share it with most mammals. But also we share the most conscious part of the brain with most mammals, but they have it in lots smaller parts. So what you can see in front of you is the visualization of a monkey's cat brain, dog brain, chimp brain, and the human brain. The blue is this conscious part of the brain that allows us for long-term planning. And as you can see, all these animals do have that, but the human have it a lot more. And this is what basically separates us from the animal kingdom. This is what makes us be able to create music, send a person to the moon, organize a conference like this. This is really what makes us human. Another important thing about this conscious versus automatic part of the brain is that humans didn't always have it. We got it through evolution. And as you can see, this gentleman right here, and almost everyone before him, had a flatter face, kind of their head started right above their eyebrows, and then the modern human started to have a bigger forehead. And the reason for that is that's when we started to develop this more conscious part of the brain, and we needed to create space for it in the skull. And then the final thing that is kind of important for content creators is that this conscious part of the brain develops later. So what you can see in front of you is a 5-year-old's brain, a preteen's brain, teen and 20-year-old brain, and the bluer it is, the more developed it is. And this conscious part of the brain is typically here up front. And as you can see that even a 20-year-old has some green parts. So if you are thinking back of your teenage self, the crazy things that you did, don't blame yourself too much. It is only because you didn't yet have that conscious part of the brain. Or at least that's what I like to tell myself. But this kind of also impacts who do you create a video for, and we are now diving into video creation. I need to make a shout out to this gentleman. His name is Daniel Kahneman. He passed away 1 year ago. He won a Nobel Prize for his work, and there is a fantastic book, Thinking Fast and Slow, and he's kind of the person who created this theory and also proved it. So in case you want to read more on this, I would highly recommend this book. So now diving into videos. There are 3 key points I would like to say about virality. Number 1 is that viral videos stimulate our brain in similar ways. So what you can see here is, again, the Netflix video that we shown before. There is no green dots, I just removed where people are looking. Here is, again, a brain visualization of a person watching this video. Down here, it's a video of 10 hours of paint drying. There is a YouTube video like this, and here is the visualization of someone watching that. We did not make a person watch 10 hours of paint drying. We probably made them watch for 5 minutes. But the key point I am trying to make is that up here, you will be able to see the brain exploding, so to say, like brain waves happening, and down here, a lot less. So let's play it. Yeah, there you can clearly see the difference between the two. All right. And by the way, a little bit a joke on me, because this 10 hours of paint drying video has 20 million views, 2 million views on YouTube. So this kind of disproves my theory, but in my opinion, it is because the title is so interesting that people just click on it. I highly doubt that people watch it for 10 hours straight. Good. So we saw how the brain is different on viral versus non-viral videos. The next point I would like to make is that virality is scientific and largely predictable. As you can see, if you looked at the brain of someone watching a viral versus non-viral video, you could already see when there is more brainwaves happening. That is typically a good indication of virality. Also, if we translate all that data to an engagement metric, it becomes even clearer. What you can see here in front of you is 2 YouTube videos, the first 2 minutes of 2 long-form YouTube videos, and this engagement metric that we defined. Again, this is not engagement as of comments, likes, shares. This is an engagement based on the brainwaves and facial expressions. And a couple of things stand out. Number 1, there is more engagement on the first video, and number 2, engagement happening earlier. Here it is somewhat of an emptier first few seconds. So which one do you think was more successful? The first one, okay, or the second one? Okay. 1 hand raised, interesting. So let's see which videos are these. The first one, no shock, it's a MrBeast video, $1 versus $1 million hotel room. But interestingly, also the second one is a MrBeast video. It's the I hunted 100 people. The first video got 382 million views, and then the second video got 290 million views, which is still insane to get 200 million views on a long form on any video. But obviously, in MrBeast terms, this is somewhat of a less successful video, especially if we compare it to this one. And these videos were released very close to each other, so his skill level and the amount of time passed since, it's kind of similar, thus it makes them comparable. So the question comes, how did one of these get more views, and how did the other video get not so many views? And here, I would like to arrive to my third point, which is virality is hackable. The way this section is structured is that first I am going to go through 3 points regarding how to influence this automatic brain, and 3 points how to influence this more conscious brain. And under each point, I'm going to talk a little bit about evolution, about how does it influence us today, and I'm going to cite a couple of YouTubers who are very good at influencing that part of the brain. So it is going to be 2 times 3 sections coming up. So again, the conscious and the automatic brain. The automatic is, as a reminder, it is system 1. Most children already have this brain, teenagers already have this brain, and this is what makes us to do fast, emotional decisions. There are many ways, by the way, how to influence this automatic brain, but we only have 45 minutes, so I am going to list the 3 easier or more important ways how to influence it. Number 1 is attention. And how do we get attention? There are a million different ways, but one easy way to get attention is, again, referring back to evolution. So for millions of years, the kind of environment that surrounded us was kind of like this. Not much was happening around us. Whenever there was a sudden movement, it typically meant that there is a predator coming at us. So sudden movement is immediately getting our attention because we need to fight or flight in order to survive. However, only 100 years ago, the monitor was invented, televisions were invented, and marketers quickly realized that this is a fantastic device to get someone's attention. And now, this is how Times Square looks like. This is something that the human brain is absolutely unprepared for. For millions of years, we weren't surrounded by an environment like this, and in only 100 years, our brain is not prepared to know that this is not necessarily something we have to pay attention to. And that's why fast cuts, especially in short-form content, work. This is a creator, he is making cooking videos, and in this following video, I will play for you the first 10 seconds, and I invite you to count how many cuts he has. I also invite you to think about that the video itself doesn't really have any sound, there is no storylining, there is no one talking over the video. This is gonna be just fast cuts of visually engaging content. So 10 seconds, try to count how many cuts there are. Okay, so I had the benefit of pausing this video before, and I can tell you it's 17 cuts in 10 seconds. And you could see that the video is not really telling a story, there is no music, there is no interesting storylining or anything like that, just fast cuts. And then the reason why it works is because we are not yet used to basically screens, only a couple of generations passed since the television. Another way to get someone's attention is creating something like the curiosity gap. So the curiosity gap is what the audience know and what they might want to know, or in some cases may not want to know, but you can still get them curious. And I think a fantastic creator for this is Mark Rober. Probably some of you know him. Especially his thumbnails are very smart in creating this curiosity gap. One of his videos is called World's Largest Jello Pool, Can You Swim in Jello? Now, do I need for my own survival, will I ever swim in Jello? Probably not, but now I am kind of curious. Same this one, egg drop from space. I don't think I will ever get so tall to drop an egg from space, but it creates a curiosity gap in me, and it kind of creates a need to click on this video and watch it. So this is about attention. As mentioned, there are many other different ways how to get attention. I'm just mentioning a couple of examples and a couple of creators under each. One thing that I don't talk about, an easy way to get attention is through sounds, but we are not discussing that here. Okay, next point under influencing this automatic brain is emotions. And this is a big one. Why is it a big one from an evolutionary perspective? Well, here is an art, a piece of art from about, I think, 5,000 years ago. This is in south of Argentina. And what you can see, it's a tribe who created their hand painting on a wall. This is how it looks like when we zoom out. And what it means is that however we want to think about ourselves, we are not some cool snow leopard roaming the fields around. We are more social animals. We are more like suricatas, huddled together. We need each other. We need to work together in order to survive. And so, given that we need to work together, we need to understand each other. And the key way of how to understand each other is understand each other's emotions and empathize with those emotions. And often we are affected by the emotions of the people around us. For instance, this is one of the reasons we love to watch the Olympics and sport events. Obviously, I don't want to take away from, one of the reasons why we love to watch this is because of the technique, the speed, the athleticism of these people, but we also love to watch their facial expressions once they lose or win. This is one of the most liked pictures on Instagram, obviously because it is messy, but obviously because he's showing such a genuine emotion that we are immediately hooked in. Now, I believe no one in the audience won or will win a World Cup, but we can relate to the emotions. All of us went through massive amounts of joy as we achieved a big goal in our lives. So emotions are very relatable, and that's why it works. Another example, Usain Bolt, and then Muhammad Ali, the anger and the force in this picture, you can kind of feel it, and it kind of gives you the same emotions. Also, when we observe someone not having the right emotions, that also can create virality. For instance, this gentleman on the Olympics half a year ago, many people observed him as being too cool regarding his emotions when he was playing in the Olympics. So even having the wrong kind of emotions can create emotions in other people. So what does it mean for the creator economy? Here is a team that I think plays on emotions fantastically. They are a team, they are called Dude Perfect. They have, I think, 60 million subscribers, and they do trick shots. And those trick shots are very impressive, but I think what drives people in is how they celebrate these trick shots. They are over-exaggerating flipping a cup, in my opinion. I imagine it is hard, but you will see in the coming video how they are celebrating it, and their celebration kind of drives us in, and we start typically to feel the same emotions. This is gonna be loud, so cover your ears if you don't want to hear 5 men shouting. Okay. So Messi didn't display as much emotions as these 5 guys do. Another fantastic creator when it comes to capturing the emotion of the people on video and then using that to give emotions to others is MrBeast. Obviously, he does many, many other things, but I think a key element in his content is emotion. And let me drive you through how MrBeast basically arrived to creating emotional content. He started back in 2012. This is his first video. It is just gaming content. He is not displaying emotions, obviously not on his face because we cannot see his face, and neither in his voice. Then 5 years later, he created this video that went somewhat viral. In this video, he gives money to a homeless person, and we can see the homeless person's reaction to it. This was his first somewhat successful video. He realized that it was successful, so he recreated it, but walking up to the homeless person and showing his facial expression, we can take a closer look of what the person is feeling essentially as he receives this life-changing gift. And then MrBeast realized that this is working. People like to see others displaying emotions, so he kept on refining his craft, showing and generating basically emotions. In 2019, he was giving money to streamers, which already had their camera on. We already had a fantastic shot of their faces. And then obviously there are very intense emotional reactions. 2021, MrBeast created the Squid Games, and you can see the cameraman literally running after the winner to capture everything that he's displaying when it comes to emotions. 2023, giving back the sight to many people, again, extremely emotional moments, up until we arrive to 2025, when he has Beast Games, which is basically just intense emotion after intense emotion. So watching other people having emotions has an impact to us, but that's not the only way how to generate emotions in others. There are some creators who are simply very, very funny. This is Jenna Marbles. He created a video called How to Trick People into Thinking You Are Good Looking. She's not displaying emotions herself, but she's being so funny that the way she gives emotion to the audience is just to make them laugh. No wonder that it has 72 million views. So arriving to the last point under this automatic brain that most children have and we share with most mammals, comprehension. Our brain, especially this part of the brain, is quick and it can get bored very quickly, as well as it can get overwhelmed. So if something is boring, we click away, but if something is overwhelming, we are also clicking away. So we have to find a right balance of keeping this part of the brain entertained, but not too overwhelmed. And this is kind of the facial expression that we are looking for when people consume our content. I think a fantastic creator here is Nas Daily. In this video, I invite you to pay attention to a couple of things. Number one, he is using very, very simple words. Number two, the way he's crafting his sentences is very easy. You will see that he is saying things like, when this man was 3 years old, this and this happened. When this man was 35 years old, this and this happened. He uses the subtitles very effectively. And then also whenever he talks about a topic, that is what is being displayed on his video. So he's basically helping this automatic brain to comprehend what is happening without a lot of effort. So let's watch this.
This man shouldn't be alive. When he was 3 years old, his mother died in an earthquake. When he was 35, he got stuck in the middle of the ocean for 77 days, almost dying. When he was 36, he was sent to jail.
Okay, I think you understand. Let's move on to the conscious brain, which is, as mentioned, most mammals have it, but not as developed as the humans. And this is the part of the brain that develops the last. So it finishes developing around the age 21 to 25. So again, if you did something stupid before, don't blame yourself. Blame evolution. Also an important note here, what we see based on data, it is somewhat easier to go viral affecting the automatic brain. There are a number of reasons for that. One is that mostly children consume videos, viral videos, YouTube. So given that they have most of this brain, it is easier to target content to this brain. Another reason why is that even adults, when they are consuming content, often they are just scrolling, not really looking for a particular information, or not really thinking that, oh, I need to watch this video because it is going to serve me in the future. They are often just scrolling to entertain themselves and not to overwhelm themselves. So if your goal is to go viral, typically it is easier to target this automatic brain. However, this can also be very important, especially if you are targeting a certain type of adult looking for a certain type of information. So to affect this conscious brain, there are 3 key levels. Number one, the content should be valuable. And I'm just giving a couple of examples of channels that create very valuable content. There is one that is called Dead, How Do I? And this YouTuber answers basic questions like how to shave your face correctly, how to tie a tie easily, etc., etc. Another great YouTuber here is Physics Girl, who is creating entertaining and educational videos. This clearly drives value, and so she manages to generate a lot of views. And finally, Marquez, he is also optimizing for this value generation. He's also speaking at South by Southwest, and the type of videos he does is technology reviews. Now, if you are planning to buy a new Cybertruck, you are obviously interested in his video, but in case that's not what you are shooting for, this is probably not interesting for you. So it is value-driven. The second lever to use when affecting this conscious brain is that it has to be memorable. There are many ways how to affect memory. One of the easiest one is through smells. It is because the area of our brain where we process smell is very close to the area where we are keeping memories. Obviously, we cannot use smell through YouTube videos. Maybe it's a feature that will come in 5 years. Another way that we can use memory generation on YouTube is to tell a story. A good story to tell is typically the hero's journey, where there is an average person who starts out, they face a problem, they overcome that problem, and then eventually they come out better at the end of this journey. Hollywood uses it over and over again. So here is a good comparison across favorite successful Hollywood movies. Sorry, English is not my first language. So what they like to use is once upon a time, there was a lonely orphan, such as Simba or Harry Potter, who had these friends who lived happily until an evil came, and then they fought, and then everything was great at the end of it. So this is a typical hero's journey story. It is used over and over again, and the reason why it is used over and over again, because it works, it creates memories, we can resonate a lot with these stories. Now, a good YouTuber who is, I think, a fantastic storyteller, and his numbers prove that, is Mr. Bellen. He has around 10 million subscribers on YouTube, and all he does is that he talks in front of a green screen, telling very engaging stories. And he's obviously very good at it. He's not using basically any of the other levers, so no frequent cuts, not a lot of emotions, but a good storyteller, and his stories are very, very memorable. And then arriving to the final point, how to affect this conscious brain, it's something that is shareable. So as mentioned, we are social little animals, like suricatas. We don't only like to understand others' emotions, but it's also important to us what others think of us. And so that is something that is called social currency. There's a big difference of what we are consuming as videos in our privacy versus what we share with our friends. I would be horrified if my laptop suddenly changed to my YouTube screen and you would see all the videos that I am actually watching. But of course, the videos that I choose to share with my friends, it's a curated version of the image I hope my friends develop of myself, as well as I try to share something that my friends might find interesting. So for this reason, trends are important. What was cool 10 years ago, planking, is not really cool anymore. And now, obviously, TikTok dances are cool, but I don't know how they are going to be viewed 10 years from now. So this, to return to my point, that virality is hackable by using these levers. And to close up this session, I wanted to jointly evaluate a couple of videos. So first, I am going to share a very viral MrBeast video, and I want you to think of the structure that we just discussed of how MrBeast is trying to affect the automatic and conscious brain. So here it goes. It was released during Halloween a couple of years ago, and then the premise of the video is that MrBeast gives away iPhones instead of candy. And that's what you are going to see.
Hey, you want an iPhone?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yo, I love the costume. Here's an iPhone.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, you get 2 for having a Minecraft costume. Don't drop your iPhones. Happy Halloween. Hey, here's $10,000. No, it's yours. No, keep it.
No, but you keep it.
Hey, here's an iPhone. Here's an iPhone. You want one as well? Here you go. Happy Halloween. You want an iPhone? Here you go. Happy Halloween. Here, take them. Here's an iPhone.
Thank you.
You want an iPhone?
Yes, please.
Okay, here's an iPhone. Oh, there's 2 of you? 1 second. There we go.
You get what the video is talking about. So when we are thinking about this structure, who is his target audience and what levers do you think he is using? In my understanding, his target audience is children, so no shock that he's targeting this automatic brain. Attention, yes, he is creating this curiosity gap. The title of this video, giving away iPhones for Halloween, that immediately creates a curiosity. He is also using fast cuts, that, as mentioned, drives us in. He's showing a lot of emotions. This is his first screen, and you can see the child being very, very excited. And then comprehension is also very easy. It's very easy to understand, especially for people in the United States. During Halloween, people go around and ask for candy, and then giving out iPhones, it's something crazy. When it comes to the conscious part of the brain, this piece of content is not that valuable. It is somewhat memorable, but it is shareable because it is cool, of course. So this is regarding a MrBeast video, mostly targeted for children. Let's look at something different. This lady creates short videos on scientific concepts. In this, she is talking about why we are asked to prove that we are humans when we are logging into a website.
I have a question. Why can't a robot just click, "I'm not a robot"? Turns out that the answer to that question is part of a bigger story about being human. The tech is called reCAPTCHA.
There's no need that we watch the entire video. You can Google it. So when it comes to scoring it on this framework, I would rate her 1 on attention. Emotions, not that much. Her content is not emotional. Comprehension, I think she does a good job, although she's talking a little bit too fast, so it is harder to understand. However, when it comes to the conscious mind, I think this information is valuable, it is somewhat memorable, and it is very shareable, because this is something that we can relate to. Okay, and then the final evaluation, it's my current session right now. That is, that is a picture of me giving another presentation, and then I thought that my audience is gonna be adults, which I think most of you are, and also it would be very hard for me to generate emotions here on stage, although I think many of you could relate when my technology with my brain didn't work and I was freaking out. That probably gave you some emotions. But this is how I would rank myself. It is somewhat attention-grabbing your brain on viral videos, emotions, so-so, except when I was freaking out that my technology is not working, and comprehension, I try to do my best. English is not my first language. When it comes to affecting the more conscious outer brain, I try to make it valuable to you. I try to make it somewhat memorable. I am not following a storyline. I'm just giving you information. And I hope it is somewhat shareable. So with that, if you agree or disagree with this rating, the organizers asked me to encourage you to use the application and rate my session. So please be honest, any piece of feedback is very valuable to me. Thank you very much. Oh my God!